Okay, make a sketch of your project. We're going to be doing 344 square feet living room and a hallway attached, and we're going to need 18 boxes. And we went with Pergo Timbercraft. They have a very good reputation. And the job requires 3 boxes of Pergo Gold underlayment. Installation kit, if you don't have this tool right here for driving them, you'll need one. And then the spacers. You need 3/8 of an inch all the way around the perimeter of this floor. Also, you'll definitely need an undercut saw, either the hand variety or this multi-tool. As for cutting this laminate, I found a circular saw works best, and also a jigsaw with a laminate blade. Okay, we tore out an old carpet, well, worn out carpet. Now we need to do some prep work. I'm carefully prying the casings loose from the bottom of the floor here, bottom of the wall. And just be careful with this because you could damage the drywall behind there if not. I'm using a fairly wide putty knife. And then I put a little sheet metal behind it as well. And then a pry bar applied right to the putty knife to prevent you from making indents on that wall. So just work it slowly and gradually, and you shouldn't have a problem. Okay, we need to get the laminate underneath the register, so they're going to have to be raised up, which means they need to be removed. I took a couple nails out here, pull it right out, and then when we put it in, it's going to go higher. We're setting up the undercut 3/16 of an inch above the laminate and the underlayment. So we make a line there, and we'll cut that out using an undercut saw. Here on the inside of the door jamb, we need to cut that away too, and I found a multi-tool to be helpful here. This method of running the coax cable through the floor won't do either. So this has to come out. We're going to be putting a wall plate in here. With the preliminaries out of the way, let's put down the underlayment. And we're doing it at 90 degrees from the direction the laminate will be running. And this material is very easy to work with, very easy to cut in any kind of shape. Now they have a special kind of a seam sealing system with this foil piece that folds over. Take the tape off, it'll fold over and kind of do a nice job of sealing the seam. And I should point out that the underside there is no tape at all on, so it just rests on the floor. So that's very simple to install. Now starting to lay the laminate, this is the groove. This goes away from your first wall. And the tongue on the other side here, this you're going to cut off and put against your starter wall. Okay, as you start laying laminate on this wall, I'm going to start on this wall. Make sure you're square. If you're not square, you're going to have to remove some from the edge that's going to be against the wall. So I'm going to start laying it like this, cross, back and forth, cutting pieces off on the ends, starting with the piece that's cut off until we get all the way over here. Start placing planks against the wall, maintaining that 3/8 inch gap. This is the groove the tongue fits into. Right off the bat, I'm going to be shortening my first piece and removing the tongue where it rests against the wall. This is a laminate blade in my jigsaw. And this board, which is going to be a 33-inch board, is going to be the lead board on the next run. Put this one in backwards, so I'm going to work through the other wall. Undercut more. At the start of the fireplace, I have a little precision piece to cut. A delicate cut around the fireplace. I'm using a handsaw so I have a little bit more control over the cut, although it's more time consuming. A 2x4 wood block works good, just do not place it against the groove. Put it on the actual flooring surface itself, and that's a harder surface and it won't mar it. Now, as more and more flooring was put down, it became apparent that it wasn't square. The walls weren't square, as they appeared to be at first, and I wound up with a gap that got a little bit wide in a couple places, but not too bad. But worse yet, it got it almost touching on one end, so that can be easily remedied. Done. Our gap is again proper. Okay, we finished putting down laminate in the living room, and now we're moving on to the hallway. And we have 5 doorways to contend with here. As you can see, I have the underlayment all down. So I'm going to spend a little time on the details of working around these door entries. This is the tongue removed side. We'll do that first as we work across. Okay, around this doorway, I'm going to pull this piece out. I've already cut the other pieces. This is the piece that's going to go in there. And here's the next piece on the wall. So I'm going to pull this apart and then slide it back in, tap it in from this angle. I have to speed this up a little bit. I don't hammer this fast. Now we'll just piece it all together. So the idea here is to cut the 3 pieces first, the entryway piece and the 2 pieces that are going to go along the wall. See, this one's already been notched out. And then to slide, we'll fit this piece in. It's set up to fit right in the doorway. And then we're just going to slide the tongue into the groove on the end. I've raised this entire thing up with wood blocks to help get the tongue and seat it into the groove to start with. We have it started. So now we'll just gently tap it in the entire length of it, and it'll slide underneath the door. Now with it fitted in there, we can put the transition strip back in. Now we're going to work where the groove is toward the wall on the opposite side, and I found this to be the most challenging part of the whole installation here. We have 2 doorways to take care of. These are challenging because we have to slide the planking in this direction and snap it in, and we're dealing with it being underneath the door jambs, so we can't get it up as high as we want it to. I use poster board templates to make all these cuts, patterns for them, so they'll slide right underneath the door jambs. I found these cuts challenging, so I used a template so as to not make a mistake. Notice I had to pry and move the doorway trim piece outward in order to get this one piece started. So I had to think through the placement of each piece before it was attempted to put it in there. It's much like putting a puzzle together. All the resources we had to do this part of the job, including that tapping bracket. Now that they're all assembled, I'm just making sure it's centered in the doorways, with that little bit of play on each side of the door jamb is equal. So we can't raise and snap this in place. We're going to have to kind of drive it in. So I'm using this bracket tool here all along the wall gradually in order to ease each piece into the groove. We're going to take precautions at the entry door to make sure no water can seep in to the laminate. So we're going to use put a door sweep in here and then use 100% silicone sealant. Okay, there are a few gaps now that we're going to fill with this Pergo sealant around the bottoms of the doors, several other places in particular. Okay, we're all done, and I think the job came out really good. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos to come.